What's up? I'm St. John. You're watching Hard Knock TV. I'm with my homie Nick. And Nick, there's two Nicks. Wait, I'm not gonna say it's weird, but.
I like to start interviews setting the tone. So if there was a movie made about your life, that opening sequence, it's coming through the front door of your home. What are we hearing? What are we seeing? What are we smelling?
The movie's being shot. It's my biopic.
Yeah, it's your biopic.
So I get to be creative.
You get to be as creative as you want.
I mean, obviously you walk in, right? And the doors open up and it's marble everywhere. But you can see the rear of the house because it's all glass. Right, so you walk in the front, you can see the back. You can see it going into the valley, and you can see the pool to the right. Right. Of course, I ain't gonna tell you what you smell because I don't want people smelling. You can't watching y'all niggas. There'll be. Oh, this is great. So of course you walk in, and then there's like women walking from opposite sides. There's a girl going on. She's gonna get a glass of milk. There's a girl picking up a champagne bottle. Everyone bikini clad. I come downstairs, silk. I'm like, hey, what's up? How y'all do? Y'all good? Y'all need some champagne? Y'all thirsty? Everybody cool? I'll see y'all in a second. I go change to another silk. Same silk, different color.
Now, if the movie goes from there to a flashback to your childhood home, what are we seeing there?
You see like a Honda Accord from, I don't know what year Pops had that Honda Accord. You probably see like it must have been like, it was old, this guy in third world country, right? So, and maybe it was an 80s Accord or something like that. Never was up to date. Couldn't have been, we were too poor. You see like a red Honda Accord. You be walking in the yard, there's a red Honda Accord outside. In my mind, it's a Cooper because I like that, right? So it's red, it has the black trimming, but it's not rubber, it's plastic. You walk in the front gate, there's two gates. There's a gate here, a gate here. There's concrete separating the two gates because it's a third world country. So, fenced in with protection. You open the gate, and then there's a 2-story home with the top floor protruding beyond the first floor. So the first floor you can walk into almost as if a balcony is perched over, right? And it's just a 2-bedroom, small crib. Wood floor, things a little dusty, not running water. Maybe I'd be on one of the couch with one of the 6 holes and I'm watching Saturday afternoon night cartoons, probably, right?
What are we hearing?
You probably hear, my Pops frying. He would definitely be making corned beef and cabbage, for sure, 100%.
You got a bunch of siblings? It's just
you? Yeah. But that particular day, this is my movie, let me tell you. That particular day, I'm by myself. Just my Pops in the back and I'm watching. Maybe I'm wrestling. I'd probably be watching wrestling, right? I have no idea what I'm wearing. But poor, it don't look cool. I probably had it for, 7 years. It might fit a little small. I like this. I'm not even on drugs presently. Nah, that's cool. Yeah, that's what it would be like. It would smell like corned beef and cabbage, and it would smell like the water isn't running and you'd have to fetch it. And it would smell real.
Now, for people who don't know, this country is Guyana, right?
Yeah, Guyana, South America.
I'm South American too.
Oh, from where?
Argentina.
All right,
yeah.
We're neighbors.
Yeah,
close enough. Yeah.
Tell me how growing up between Brooklyn and Guyana shaped you.
Well,
because you went back and forth a few times, right?
I went back and forth in intervals. So different degrees of poverty, right? Guyanese poverty is third world poverty. American poverty is still first world poverty. You still have opportunities. You still get some benefits. You can have health care. How did it mold me? It taught me I could do worse. Even if I was doing bad, I could do worse. And if you notice worse, then you feel like your position is a little bit better. You go, oh, I could backslide. There's another level. And you feel like that gives you hope and a little bit more opportunity to go forward. At least you're not at the ground floor. For whatever reason, that helps people. That helps your humanity, your mindset.
Yep.
At least I'm not it. As I'm saying this, I'm sort of remembering what it was like growing up, going, damn, I really have to think my way out of my situation. I had to become the best version of myself. It molded that, it made that, it forced that.
Musically, how is that shaping you, the different sounds you're hearing going back and forth? Do you remember what your first musical memory was?
Nah. I could tell you a good lie, but we're good friends now. Nah.
What was something that comes to mind? It doesn't have to be the first one, but like early ones.
One of the earliest memories, I don't know what my first musical memory was, because I didn't grow up in a musical household.
Okay.
My mom wasn't playing music. I didn't know that. You know, some people from like early onset, they'll say their parents playing Sam Cooke or whatever. Growing up in Guyana, I got to hear Beres Hammond and Buju. I got that. That's where I got the musical influence from, but it came from everywhere but my household. I don't come from a musical family. I forgot the question, but I like where I was going with this. What'd you say?
The question was early music memories. Like, what were some?
Oh, my first one. So I remember coming home, and this is when I started rapping. I remember coming home, and I saw my brother on the corner, and he was in a cypher, and he was rapping. I remember that distinctly. I think there were maybe 5 people, and he was one of 5. And I saw it from the corner of my eye through my peripheral. When I was growing up in Bushwick, I was like, oh, that's lit. I'm gonna do that. But I was just walking in a house from school, and I liked it. I liked the energy. It was him in the middle of 4 other people, and they were captivated. You knew what was happening, even if you didn't know what was happening. You felt it. I was far enough away, but close enough to still be connected, and I went, that's incredible. I want to do that.
How did you see that and then say, okay, I'm gonna become an artist?
I didn't know that I could become an artist. I just started stealing my brother's raps. It's the easiest thing to do, right? Like your older brother, he got the cool wardrobe. Even if you wear size 11 and he wear 13, cool, you're 13 that day. You just borrowed. So that's what I did. I borrowed from him. I took whatever he was doing, I would go to school and I'd rap it, and he was older than me, so I was a genius, right? You're a genius. 10 years old, 11 years old, you rapping some shit. You're the one. Of course not. Yeah, thank you. Now I'm working on my mixtape. That was the mentality.
What was the moment where you're like, I want to do this for a career?
That moment, the first time.
Wow.
The very first time, I knew that. I didn't know what that meant. You can't know what that meant. So even if someone's watching this, looking at this, and they're like, damn, I know what that, you know, but you don't know what that means. So you decide long before you knew what the impact of a decision is. You just decide, you're a kid. I just decided, and I barreled down the road when it was still just entertaining to me. When I was still purely doing it for myself. I think those are some of the best days when no one's watching you and you just want to entertain yourself. You're gassed. It's like the girl who takes a selfie, never posts it, but she likes how it looks.
Do you remember your first song? Like, what was that song about?
I don't remember my first song, no. I have no idea. I remember going to the studio with my brother in Flatbush, and he was rapping, and they were rapping on, I don't know, why did niggas have tape? They had tape like DAT. I remember recording on DAT, and this wasn't 400 years ago, so why did they have DAT? Somebody please make me understand why they had DAT. But I'd record on tape with him. Maybe I did a verse. I don't really remember it. It couldn't have been good. I'm sure it was terrible. I bet my money, actually. It was bad.
At one point in your career, you started writing for other people.
Yeah.
How did that play out?
I had the opportunity to. It fell in my lap because I suppose I presented myself ready for the opportunity. I wrote a song for a friend of mine. We put it out on the internet. Some important people found it really fast, rapidly. You need a little bit of luck. You're gonna need a lot of preparation and a little bit of luck. So I had a lot of preparation and a little bit of luck. And I was ready for the opportunity. I flew out to LA, which we're in LA now. There was an executive, Zach Katz. He was like, yo, I heard this song, it's great. I like this chorus. Why don't you write these songs for these people? All I heard was the names of the people. I didn't know the process of writing the songs I didn't know what that meant, right? It's the equivalent to someone saying, yo, fly to Portland. You want to work for Nike? All you heard was Nike. You missed the point where you heard, do you want to work for, there's some steps beyond, do you want to work for Nike, getting the job, having the job being well paid, being a position, but all you hear is the brand. And all I heard was the brand. I heard the names they said. That was good enough for me. I was like, I'm in, I'm lit. Who you said, her? Yeah, I'm doing it. So in my mind, I was writing songs for these people, but I was just pitching them. That means you write them and then you present them and then you hope that they like them enough that they take the songs and then sing them, and then you hope that it gets to the next step where they no longer just sing them, they actually commit to putting them on the project, and hopefully you get paid. And so many different steps between write these songs for this person and you're a songwriter. But I took the first step.
Now, one of those people that I read was Rihanna.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You spent a few months working on tracks for her that didn't make the album.
Well, these are two separate stories, just for clarity.
Okay.
So when I first got into songwriting, the opportunity was, yo, write these songs for Rihanna. The person wasn't necessarily directly connected to her, but the way the music industry works internally with songwriting, there are these people in place that call A&Rs, they get the songs. A&Rs, managers, producers, whoever's close enough to the artist might have the artist's ear and the opportunity to get a song to them. It was an executive who had a relationship with the A&R. They told me to write the song. I wrote the song, then it would get sent to the A&R, but it didn't make it, right? That didn't make it. Fast forward years later, they said, write these songs for Rihanna. That didn't make it. Fast forward years later, I got the call. Yo, come work on some of these songs for the project. So I was in LA again. Some of the good things in my life happened in LA. My favorite 3. Anyway, look, I came to LA, there was a $60 million mansion. This shit sounds ridiculous. A $60 million mansion in Malibu. There's dozens of people working on the property. The rooms are converted into studios. In the main house, Rihanna was there working. Omar was there, a couple other people from Roc Nation. I didn't know anyone. I just got the call. I was just ready for the opportunity again. I was just ready to work. I was ready to see if I can make my dreams come true. Rolling the dice. Not really, but close enough. I had a little bit more money then. So I showed up. I'm in LA. I'm there for a month. I'm staying at this hotel of an hour away. And I'm working there on a daily basis, 10, 12, 14 hours, because you're just trying to maximize the opportunity. Those songs ain't making either. And those were some of the best songs I'd written in my life at the time. I thought I was on the road. I was on a trajectory. It was going. It had to go. Just because it has to go doesn't mean it goes.
You're surrounded by mansion. You're surrounded by all these different stuff. You put your hard work in, you put and then it doesn't make the album. On a personal level, how do you deal with that?
For me personally, I think most people take it as rejection. If I write something great, or if I create something that I know has incredible impact, if I think my taste is good enough, which I think is good enough, and I create something that people don't respond well to, I don't think it's my fault. If I believe with absolute sincerity, if I'm like, nigga, this shit is incredible, I believe that. I know, not just because I made it, I would have thought it was good if someone else presented it to me, and no one responds to it, I trust myself, my instincts, my ear, my intention well enough to be like, cool, I'll see you when you circle back, double the price. That's my mentality. So if you didn't if I write these records and you don't take them, okay, cool. I'll see you when you circle back.
You've written from people from Rihanna to Usher to Jidenna to Division, like a range of people. How do you go about from writing for yourself to then putting yourself in somebody else's shoes? Or do you put yourself in somebody else's shoes?
I can't. I'm not that talented. Dude, I don't know what you went through. I can't write that for you. Right? You can give me the information and I can craft it and be as creative as I want to, but that's not my style of creativity. I'm good at telling the truth with whatever my true story is. Right? What makes it magical is finding where my truth and your truth relate. It's the relationship. If you and I sit down and have a conversation and you go, I get, me too. It's the moments where we find like synchronicity, where we're the same, where we have one common interest, one common goal, one common past. That's where the great songs take us, because they feel like you know them. Like you hear Adele's Hello, Hello, It's Me, right? I don't even know that's how it completely goes. But the minute you hear it, you go, oh, come on, fam, this phone call lit, right? You know it, even if you don't know it. Or We Found Love in a Hopeless Place. I'm just quoting like pop records. So when you hear them, you go, we found love in a hopeless place. Even if you didn't feel that way, you wanted to feel that way, or you know that feeling being told to you through other visuals, or other mediums, so that it connects. So I can't write for other people. I can only write my story, and if you identify with it, then I appreciate it, and I value that. My skill set is finding where the marriage is.
When you first start conceptualizing a song, do you go lyrics first? Do you go melody first? Like, where does your creative process kind of take you?
It changes. It changes. I might walk in the studio and I might have a thought. It might start with a line. It might start with the word. It might start with the concept. It might just start with me mumbling melodies. It could start any possible way. The only thing I'm looking for is to get to the place where I'm excited and I think I've done something that I haven't done. And that's progressive, that's forward. If I love what I've done, then I'm comfortable enough with that, even if you never hear it, if the world never hears it. I got about 96 albums I listen to when I'm going to sleep, and they're all classic. And I made all of them. You get what I'm saying? Because it's not, at that point, it's not important what anyone else thinks. I'm just making because it pleases me.
We had Tory Lanez in here a little while ago, and he said that he thinks we're at a space in music where fans care more about the melodies and the actual lyrics. What do you think about a statement like that?
When have we not been there? Melody is universal. If I sing something right now and you don't speak English, you can focus and tune into it if the emotion resonates with you and if the melody catches your ear. That's universal across any language. melody. Even the way you talk has a melody, right? The way I talk has a certain staccato punctuated, like almost like I'm rapping. Some people talk in a sing-song nature. Everything's melody. I don't think that gives an excuse or that gives reasoning for lyrics to not be important. I think we've always been wherever we are. Wherever we are, we've been here before, and your lens is a little different this time, or it feels brand new this time. We've been here before. No? They got some really terrible songs in the past that were huge. Terrible, like atrocious. You go, oh, what was he saying? But you never knew that. You can't tell me there aren't songs that you've been singing your whole life, but you didn't notice the lyric not one time. And when somebody slowed you down and say, yo, do you know what you're saying? And you listen to it, you go, oh, that's brazy. I didn't know he said that, but you've been singing the words.
Yeah.
Melody is always going to be more popular. Melody is always going to carry you further than, it's always going to be more everlasting because it doesn't require you to understand. It just requires you to observe.
To me, that's the gift and the curse. The melody and the beats draw us in to the point that sometimes we're not even paying attention to what the lyrics, but depending what the lyrics are, you're either ingesting positivity or negativity or other stuff, sometimes subconsciously without even processing it.
Yeah, but what's the curse when you could choose what you want to listen to? What's the curse in 2019 when you get to choose the dial on your radio station because it's streaming? How you complain about music? You're just lazy. Not you, whoever might have to take issue.
Yeah.
Now the encyclopedia is more visible. You can see it. Any artist that you want to find, you can find. You want to find neo soul, go look for it. You got it. You want to find super dance rap, you can find that. You want to find bad songs, you can find that. So we're right where we've always been with a lot more transparency, more opportunity. You can see more, you can hear more, you can watch more, you can go to sleep more. Everything you can do it in excess a little bit more.
I agree. I think for me, a lot of those options are more on the internet, where I look at more mainstream outlets that masses are consuming, and I think personally I would want a little bit more balance on there. We have the option to always go search for it.
Right. Before it was imbalanced and you didn't have the option.
Right.
Now it's imbalanced and you have the option. I would say that that's balance. Imbalance with an option, that's balance to me. If I can opt out,
then
you don't have my back against the wall.
You talked about going back and forth through writing processes, writing for yourself, writing for other people.
Yeah.
What kept you going through all those ups and downs?
Hope, man. Hope. I knew what the bottom felt like. Everything else had to be forward, right? If I know what the base is, any step is a forward directive step. For me, as long as your mind is in the right place. Like if you in a corner selling drugs, you shoot niggas, and you might be moving your feet, but that's probably not forward. That's a little bit back. Anyway, hope. I was hopeful. I figured in my mind if I could hold on to this picture of the future, and I watched it every day and I visited it every day and I treated everything like it either fit into the picture that I wanted to see or it didn't, and things were black and white like that, then I was in a progressive state and then I could do better. And if there's a possibility for me to do better, then what's stopping me from doing it? If I'm taking all the right steps, if my mentality is right, if my hustle is right, if my talent is strong enough, if my honesty is honest enough, then what's stopping me? If I get rid of all the factors for why it can't happen, then what's stopping it from happening? I shrink the why not list and increase the volume of the why list, and the odds are in my favor. And I've just been doing that my whole life. Just trying to switch the odds in my favor.
Speak a little bit on the power of positivity. We always talk about the power of manifesting things to happen, of visualizing things to happen.
Yeah.
And it sounds like some of what you're talking about that you were doing at that time was that. How has that kind of played a role in your life?
Tremendous. It's a huge part of everything that I do. How are you going to get there if you can't see it? And if you can't see it, how are you going to know you're there when you get there if you never saw it one time? Right? Somebody drops you off in Alaska and tells you that you're in the UK. You've never seen a picture, you believe it. So you got to hold the picture in your head. So it's a roadmap for you. I didn't know that I was practicing positive thinking, and be honest with you. These things, some of them were innate to me, some of them were taught to me. I have a fantastic mother who gave me some gems. But it was second nature. My circumstances were so fucked up. I was going through enough that I couldn't look left or right. I had to look forward. There was no hope left. There's no hope right. Looking back is fruitless. All I could do was picture whatever was gonna happen. That's all I had. I was only working with the tools I had, trying to maximize them.
You spoke about your mom and some of the gems she gave you. Can you share some of those with us?
Yeah. She taught me about manifesting. She taught me about speaking. She taught me about speaking things into existence. My mom told me that a long time ago. She told me about the power of my words. Just gems. Poor people have such information, fam. Because they got to. You got to search for it. It's not handed to them. And it's the only way they get to write their ticket out. And my mom took a progressive step. She didn't make it out, but she gave me a tool that would allow me to allow us all to get out. And when I say out, I'm just talking about poverty. And it's a mindset and it's a physical place to be, not having money and thinking poor. So she taught me to speak what I wanted to into existence, rather. Say it.
What you just said is definitely a relatable. I'm a first generation immigrant myself, and I look at the journey my mom took just to come here so that I would have the opportunity to do what I love, to be able to sit here and talk to you, because she felt that in the country where I came from, those opportunities weren't there economically and just career-wise. So can you just speak a little bit more about just the role that your mom played?
I mean, my mother was a single parent. So my pops was in Guyana, my mom was in America. The reason why we kept going back and forth between America and Guyana is because she didn't have enough money to cover our living. She was a nurse's aide. There's 4 of us on my mom's side. So my mom had 4 kids and my pops had the other 6. And there's 10 kids in general, in total. She couldn't afford it, raising these kids on her own. So she would send us back and we'd go live with my pops or we'd go live with a family friend. Most of the time, it was someone else. I was raised by a village of people and she had to think different, right? Just being here was not step 1. I was 5 steps ahead. Just being here, planted on this soil. Birth certificate, American document. It takes a lot. Your family's from Argentina. My family's from Guyana. It's even a smaller country with even less resources. Probably in America, you think of the government system, what do we need Guyanese for? What do y'all do? What can y'all do for us? That's the mindset, right? With any government, anything having to do with economics, what can you do for us? You want to be here? Why? You just taking from our resources. So for her to be creative enough or clever enough or resourceful enough to figure out a way to get us here, damn, fam.
How does she feel about your success? She must be very proud that...
No, she's super happy. She's super thrilled. And I don't think, I use the word success extremely lightly. I'm super cautious when I say that. I know what you mean. But revisit in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing what you love. To me, that's success. I mean,
Yeah,
there's other
enough.
accolades and there's other stuff, but the ultimate success, whether the money or the recognition, I think in society we see that success. To me, is if you're able to make a living out of what you love, to me, that's success. So,
I agree. Touche.
How are you surviving, focusing on work, but you're writing all these songs, you're not getting placed? That means you're not getting a check, most likely, or not as big as a check as you should. How are you doing side jobs? Like, how are you staying?
I was hustling. I've always had. I work wherever, fam. I'm not afraid to go get my hands dirty. You can't. I worked at hotels. I worked in the Snuggie call center. I did all types of shit. Because you have to. Whenever the opportunity presents itself and you realize your back's against the wall, you make a good decision for yourself or not. I try to make good decisions for myself, so there's little to regret. People say they don't believe in regret. I believe in making good decisions.
It's crazy. I feel like people who gone through that journey, it's like I've telemarketed, like I've called people, I worked at factories, like I've done waited tables, babies, I did like all kinds of random shit.
Everything, finesse.
But I feel like in the end, that makes your story that much more rich.
Well, it makes you more rich as a human being. It gives you much more of a dynamic human experience. You relate. It's all part of the human experience. We're all here telling our story, we're starring in our own fucking biopic. You get to choose the characters, the textures, the wardrobe, the goddamn lighting. Goddamn, my shit's gonna be an incredible blockbuster.
I feel like oftentimes people don't realize that they are the directors to their own movie.
Of course.
It's like they give that power to other people or society or whatever, but it's like once we realize that we actually are the ones that control that, is a crazy feeling.
It takes a lot to realize you control your own life. You're put into these circumstances where you don't. Mostly, right? People go to work, they work to make a living, to fund their lives, to go back to work, to make the living, to fund their lives. It's this wheel, it's never ending race. You step out of the matrix for a second and say, yo, All I want to do is be happy. Or all I want to do are these 6 things. And then you set yourself up to go live these 6 things. All I want to do is wear silk and fur and leather and tell the truth about where I'm from and my story and live in my reality and give people hope. The people that look like me, who don't look like me, who think like me, don't think like me, who want more, who want at least this much, who just want to survive. Like, give them a bit more information, give them the tools.
You mentioned being happy. What makes you happy?
Being able to create. Because I created this. We're in this room, I didn't make this room. I didn't make these walls or this couch. But you don't even know, I had to create this opportunity. It took me my whole life. All the work I did was to be here, sitting on this couch. Not saying that that's the pinnacle of what it means for me, but I'm saying I had to create this. We all did. Every step, every decision you ever took, every choice you ever made brought you here so that we can create and have this conversation. And if I can create, then I can create my way out and I can create my way in. But if I can't create, then I'm stuck. I can create conversation, I can create thoughts, I can create moods, but I need to create it. That's my favorite part.
Sail around a quarter water. Show me you can really be a mama's daughter. 'Cause I ain't tryna be nobody hero, you know. My heart is 3 below 0.
So what I wanted to do next is go into some of the songs from Collection 1.
Yeah.
And there's certain lyrics that pop out at me that I just want to kind of bring forth. On Lust, you say, my intuition is to follow the vision.
Yeah.
How do you feel and hear your intuition?
Literally, I trust myself. I was saying I trust my ear, I trust my eye, I trust my perspective, I trust my experience enough. It takes a lot to trust yourself. People think they trust themselves. You believe yourself, but trusting yourself is different. That means you accept the consequence. That means you accept the praise. You go, I believe this. I believe this, and I'm committed to it, and I'm willing to execute it, and I can stand by it. I trust it. My intuition is follow the vision. My guide has always been internal. What I believe, the system that I practice and execute, has always been based on something inside my own mind, something I believe firmly. I can see it in my head. I feel it. My instincts tell me this is right. That's what that line is.
Those instincts, does it come from a spiritual background, or where does it come from?
I think it's a fruit cocktail of everything I've ever gone through. Everything sharpens it. Right? The older you get, the more diluted your instincts become, because the more bombarded you are with outside influence. And you got to do a lot to refine that. You got to do a lot to sharpen it. You got to talk to yourself a lot. You got to listen to yourself a lot. I believe myself. Trusting myself required experience. Belief is empty trust.
And that's something your mom gave you, or where do you think
No.
that came from? Just, you had it.
Some things you get, some things you acquire. I can't tell you which one that was.
On Reflex, you say, I spent half a decade working on the blueprint, which seemed kind of double meanings in there. You're from Brooklyn, so that also seemed like maybe it was,
Right.
it was a ode to Jay. Double entendre. There's also pictures on the internet of you with Jay from the Rock Nation brunch or different things. Was he someone growing up that you looked up to, or kind of even just checked in because you're from Brooklyn? Or
Yeah, tremendous. He was modern day Carnegie. You know, they got all these American heroes, right? In white America, there's 1 billion heroes. In Black America and Black history, our heroes are, they almost looked over, glazed over. I got to see one in real time. I got to see somebody blaze the trail and open the doors in real time, fam. You know how fortunate that is? I'm not reading it from a book. This ain't some document somebody handed off to me. This ain't an experience somebody else experienced. I get to be like, I saw that. That's real. It's real. It was real for him. It could be real for me. It's real. It's real for all of us. Did everybody get the memo? The rules just changed. That's what it, for me, like it was Jay. I was watching it. That was it. So I didn't even get to tell him that when I met him too. We met just a couple times, but.
your manager actually is connected to Jay.
Yeah,
What's it
I think
like?
they know each other.
Yeah,
I think they met a couple times.
What's that like to kind of, you're part of that now, that what you looked up to or what was around you growing up, now you're part of that tree.
That's interesting. Wow. Am I?
I mean, you're managed by somebody who played a big part in that story, so would say so.
That's cool. No, that was a real moment. That really just happened. I'm like, am I? I think that's cool. If that's the case, then that's really cool. I haven't looked at it from that perspective yet. That's cool. Should I throw up the? No, that's really cool. Yeah, thank you for that. I think you just gave me that gem. I'm only thinking about where I am and the distance between where I am and where I'm trying to go. I don't oftentimes stop to look around and look at the mirror and see what I look like. But if that's what I look like right now, it's a pretty good fucking outfit.
I mean, I saw a picture of you and Jay smiling, and I was like, that's a moment right there. To see y'all both just look like you were just in a moment,
it was
enjoying. It was like.
It was very real too.
Yeah.
We were talking about something.
Dope.
Yeah.
On God Bless the Internet, you say, yeah, I got a girlfriend. Yeah, I should be faithful.
Yeah, I got a girlfriend. Yeah, I should be faithful. But I think of you like Wi-Fi, and I think of her like cable. It's the conflict. That's the conflict. That's the never-ending conflict of having a base or having something but wanting something else or wanting more or it not being enough. Like, think about Wi-Fi and cable, right? Now, this is an interesting conversation because the internet had a field day with this song. It's called God Bless the Internet for that particular reason. When I made the song, I knew the conversation would swirl because the conversation swirled inside of my head. What side of the fence you stood on? What did you believe? You agree with this? Do you need Wi-Fi or do you need cable? Funny thing is, you need cable to have Wi-Fi. Literally, in anyone's home, in order for you to have Wi-Fi, they had to come install the cable. They ran the lines. Another double entendre, right? You got to figure it out. That one I don't want to explain. I want people to think for themselves, but I had a lot of practice creating those real life stories.
Do you think as humans we're meant to be monogamous?
No. No, I'm not even sure why I took a dramatic pause for that. No. No, monogamy, there are things that are innate to us, things that are innate, things that are natural, direct. They come right away. You don't have to think about them. And then there are things that you have to practice, that you make a regimen. And those things are foreign. And some of them are important, and some of them are valuable, and some of them are just outdated. And you get to decide for yourself which ones those are. But I don't think you have to be monogamous. I think monogamy is a concept. Polygamy is a concept. Any of these forms of relating or having relationships are concepts. Somebody came up with this. Somebody a long time ago thought it was a really good idea. And maybe it was a long time ago. And maybe today for some people it is. But for most people, I would guess it's not. Most people aren't happy with the person that they're with. Most people aren't even with the person they want to be with. Now imagine that. Imagine, you don't even got to imagine it. You might be in a relationship. Actually, I don't want to put you in a situation. Who in a relationship is? All right. Imagine waking up on a daily basis next to someone that doesn't fulfill you. Half the time, fam, you don't even know how to fulfill yourself. And you're looking at somebody else to fill in all the cues. And they don't got the information. You've been with you your whole life and you can't do it for yourself. You're going to put the responsibility, the burden on somebody you just met? Just met could be 10 years, 20 years. I don't care. You've been with yourself longer than you've been with them. And you still don't got the answers.
If so many people are unhappy and monogamy is a concept created by society, why do you think it's taken so long for society to re-examine that?
I think because some people hold the values so dear to them because they're tied into religion as well. And for religion, religion tends to give people what feels like clarity on the reasons why. We all have these questions, why, where? And there are different books that help us get answers. And in those books, people have tied in other concepts, like monogamy. So it feels religious, which makes it feel wholesome and whole and true and right. But what's right for you is right for you. There are moral things. Treat others well, be kind, smile. And then there's everything else in the other category that are just something that you decided and you thought you could decide for all of us. Every day I wake up and I get to decide for myself. I'm gonna put on these selling my boots. Oh, these selling my boots. Yeah? So that's monogamy for me. There's no right way. It's just what makes sense for you.
Yeah.
Why isn't that okay? I don't know why more people aren't having a conversation of, I get to decide what's right for me. There's no blanket. There's no general coverage for how we all should think or feel. That's crazy. What's the point of living if I'm just living by your rules? Well, you do it. You get up and you go to sell the Snuggies, nigga. I'm just gonna go back to bed. Yeah?
Going through more lyrics. Last night I got offered 100 G's. No lie, they're trying to pay me just to run and breathe.
True, sir.
Going from what you talked about in your childhood to that point, what does it feel like when you get to that point?
Like I earned it. Like I deserve it. When you earn it and you've deserved it, you're not overly excited. You're appreciative. You're happy to be valued, but they can't trick you when you've earned it. I didn't take that offer. I didn't have to. I earned it.
I heard you reference Baby Brenda Got a Baby, Picture Me Rolling in your lyrics.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some Pac connections there.
Yeah, of course.
What influence did Pac play in your life?
It's not as direct an influence as Jay or Beanie Man, because Pac is ubiquitous. Pac is everywhere, just like Biggie's everywhere. You feel it. All of the top songs, I felt them growing up. You could hear them, but it wasn't direct. I didn't grow up wanting to be Pac. I wasn't studying Pac. I wasn't relating necessarily to his life. I was enjoying his music, and I thought his passion was incredible. And it's not like I'm not well versed enough to have a conversation, but I'm saying my influence wasn't directly from that.
Right.
But you'll hear pieces.
Right.
Like I'm paying homage to certain elements, and I'm respectful. Like, yo, Picture Me Rolling. All Brenda's Got Baby.
Yeah. Now I saw it permeate in your music, so I was curious, what that was. What do you think it was about Pac that made him ubiquitous?
He was dangerous in his line of thinking. His line of thinking was dangerous. He was willing to take the dark, lonely road and say what he really believed. You know how crazy that is in America, to say what you believe, to not be safe about it, to not be politically correct about it, to have a position, take a position. That's crazy.
Pac's one of my favorites. That's what I had to ask. What inspired you to write the song Selfish?
I was being selfish. As simple as that could be, it was a selfish record. I truly felt like that. I mean, all my records are selfish in a way that I'm talking about myself, I'm trying to examine myself, and I'm making for myself to be pleased first. But Selfish was me talking about a story about me and someone else wanting to be together, knowing that it didn't make sense. And we were obviously being selfish because we had agreed to different terms, meaning we might have agreed to be in a monogamous situation with other people, but we wanted to be together. True story.
I feel like the way you talk about selfish, it's like you almost take the negative connotation out.
If it's true, if it's honest and sincere, right? If it's negative or positive, no one's getting physically hurt. There's nothing intentionally damaging or damning. It's just people honestly relating how they feel. What's negative about that? If it's not spiteful or malicious.
Right.
I'm just saying, yo, this is where I am, and I understand why I am, but my heart wanted to be there. And I understand that the adjective is selfish. To describe that feeling is selfish, because I've been taught I committed to this, so I should be here. But negative or positive, it's just the truth.
Right. I don't mean that it's negative. I just mean like in society we think of selfish as negative. And I like that when you're talking about it, it doesn't seem like a negative. It just seems like this is my perspective on things.
Yeah, for sure.
In the interview you said, I'm in a relationship with myself and sometimes I get jealous.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's what, when I meet women, and they're like, yo, I'd love to do something with you. Meaning I want to be with you, I want to be in a relationship with you. And I'm like, you can, I'm taken. I got me first. I'll let you know when I want to break. Because that's why I'm at. I'm practicing loving myself enough, just being okay with, I don't need a counterpart, a stationary counterpart. I don't need someone to wake up next to me on a daily basis to feel like I'm halfway whole. Most people require that. And that's cool. If you need that, you need that. But I'm practicing what it feels like to not have that. That's not a necessity. I gotta be able to do this by myself. And option for something else when I want something else.
I feel like society keeps feeding us the idea that we're incomplete unless we have somebody to complete us. And it's like, to me, I feel like that's really damaging because like you're
course.
constantly in search of like, who's going to complete me? Who's going to complete me? It's like, nah, look in the mirror. That's who's going to complete me.
Absolutely. And you almost pawn off the responsibility to someone else, my other half. They're supposed to come fill in all the slots I couldn't fill on my own. Fam, how fortunate are you to meet someone that comes and fills the slots on your own, on the other half of you? That's not gonna happen accidentally. Just like your dreams aren't gonna come true accidentally. It takes work, effort, refining, and some of us get lucky, just like some of us touch the stars. And everybody else gets to observe.
Can you share the hook to Brilliant Bitch?
Oh, all I ever wanted was a brilliant bitch with a nice ass, with a Wall Street mind and a project smile. What lyrics do you got?
I got those.
Sometimes the internet, I'll be like, that's what y'all thought I said? With a Wall Street mind and a project smile. Girl, we could share a last name. All I ever wanted was a Catholic girl who could move without work. So you don't never gotta ask me what's my tie. Goddamn, I want a brilliant bitch.
Yeah, where you find her at though? That's what I want to know.
You gotta get real creative. You gotta get real creative. She's gonna be in the back of a strip club washing dishes. They ain't even gonna put her, she wasn't on the floor working that night or any other night. That's rare. A brilliant bitch is rare. I thought it's cool to have a bad bitch. Everybody got Dr. Miami money. I don't even know what one of those joints costs, but you can go get an update. You can get your iOS updated. I'm seeing that a lot. Everybody got the new iPhone skin, literally. But a brilliant bitch, someone beautiful, beautiful mind, beautiful spirit, well-intentioned, progressive thoughts, that's rare. I know she's real. I have met one. I have.
That's dope.
They're real.
Take me into your mindset when you were creating the hook for Some Nights.
I was going through it. That might have been the most emotional that I'd been on that project, on that collection. I was feeling everything in that record. I was going through a tough time with someone I cared about, and we were going in our separate ways. And the only way that I could express it was this: some nights I drink way too much and I smoke just to feel like I'm in a vibe, so I could feel like I'm too alive, just so I could feel like I'm in a moment with you. Then I wake up and do it all again. I'm forgetful. It happens. When you're in pain, you're fucked up. You might make it through the day. Tomorrow you reset. It happens again. It's Groundhog's Day for misery. You understand? Heartbreak can feel like Groundhog's Day. And it was that. And the only way that I knew to express it, I went to music and I channeled it through that. I didn't even know if anyone would like that song.
To me, it's the most vulnerable one on the project, for sure.
Super vulnerable. I wasn't gonna put it out. I had no intention on putting it out. I was listening to it for days on end. By myself. I didn't even send it to anyone. I was like, this is how I really feel. And to be honest, this is how I really feel. I can feel it. There's one thing to feel it because you wrote it, and it's another thing to feel it because you can understand it. Of course, it's me listening to myself, but it doesn't mean that those two things have to be true. But they were. And I didn't know if anyone else would care. So
We care.
Thanks.
For sure. Do you find music therapeutic in that way? Like, does writing it help you with the process, or is it actually writing it opens up the cut even a little bit more?
I wonder if it's ever opened up the cut more for me. No, the therapy in it is listening back to it. It's self-counsel. I wrote it and I'm being honest about it and I'm listening to myself. Just because I write it doesn't mean necessarily at that time that I believe it. I might want to believe it. And playing it back to myself might be enough encouragement. If I'm writing it, it's true, but believing it and it being true are two separate things, just so I'm clear.
Is that because sometimes music just goes through you? Like, I've talked to other artists, like Chris Martin is one that he says, like, his writing process, music goes through him, and he's like, it's not until like weeks later where I understand what it actually meant to me.
Yeah, it's so fluid at this point. It is so second nature and fluid that I don't think about it. I'm not saying that everything is thoughtless, but I don't have to think. I have so much trust and understanding in what it means to make, and I trust my emotions. I felt it, it's real. It doesn't mean it sounds good, but I know it's real. And if it's real and it sounds good and it's sincere, and all of those things, all those marks get hit, then I'm in a great place and I got a great song. But if I start with it's real, then the future looks bright.
Yep.
So the second verse, the extended version of Some Nights, I say, I can call an Uber in like 20 minutes. I can get you here right now. But after, you know, we do what we do and then we're finished, what we gonna talk about when we finish? That was the truth. I can have you here, this can happen right now, but to what end? What next? And in that night, in that moment, in that truth, that's what it felt like. What next? Some nights all you want is a moment, and other nights a moment isn't enough. So what's the point? That was just true story, going through those emotions.
Right. I feel like people who are at the end of the relationship can relate to that.
Yes.
Because it's like, you want to hold on to something, but at the same time, you know you got to move on. And it's like, do you hold on to just the physical when you know that the emotional can't go any further?
Combination. We do all of it, don't we?
Yeah.
Desperation. Uncertainty.
Moving on to Trap.
Trap.
You hooked up a Lil Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Dope ass song.
Thank you. Shout out to Lil Baby, Coach and P, and Chubby for putting it together.
How did that track come about?
We were looking for who might have the right spirit or help graduate the record, who had the same identity for the song. I think about songs and songs alone, meaning I write a song, I create it, and I think what's right for this song. I don't often think about what's right for me, I just think what's right for the song. The song first. I stand behind the song. The song is the artist and I'm the manager. Does that make sense?
That's dope.
And Lil Baby it's a natural fit. Content, concept, melody, tone, it was just perfect. And then Chubby, he came through and he put it together, he made a call, and we got it to happen.
I hear some Kid Cudi influences in that and some other tracks. Maybe it's just my hearing. Is that somebody who played a role in your life at all, or just is that somebody you listen to?
I listened to Cudi because I listen to everything, but I didn't listen to Cudi like super intentfully. Or if I logged the hours that I listened to all artists, Cudi would fall on the slimmer margins. I didn't really grow up listening to Cudi. So I know his music peripherally, like just, I know Pursuit of Happiness, I know some of the Day and Night, I know like the bigger records, the ones that got more visibility, but I wasn't a Kid Cudi, I wasn't a super Kid Cudi fan. I wasn't, what he was talking about didn't resonate with me as much as what Kanye was talking about or what Jay was talking about. Then I'm a poor kid coming from desperate circumstances. I want to believe that I'm good enough to make it out, and I'm looking for someone who's opening those doors. I didn't suffer from depression. It wasn't self-loathing. I wasn't going through those types of emotions. I was just poor, hungry, and had a lot of hustle. So if you think about it, I'd be more likely to listen to Jeezy and Jay than, Cudi and someone else.
There's something in the sound, maybe it's in the melodies, that kind of gives me some...
I've heard that, but it's not from me I didn't investigate Cudi, I really listened. I grew up listening to Jay and Beanie Man. And then, Kanye. So I don't know Cudi as well.
Yeah.
But I know some of the music, but he wasn't an influence.
Got it. Is Trap a reflection of what we can expect from the next project you're working on, or?
Some of it. It's hard to have any expectation of me because when I'm putting together a collection, only I know what that means. And at any given day, I can expand it or I can contract it. I can make it smaller or larger. With Collection 1, you saw how dynamic it was. We started at Lust and we ended it, I Heard You Got Too Lit Last Night. And then you had Some Nights, Selfish, Reflex, Roses. Like, you had Tracy Lords, my favorite porn star is a white girl. So all of these sincere emotions, that's how I build a collection. I think about it. I think how Alexander Wang or how Chanel might roll out a collection. When they're introducing you to looks or feelings or truth, they're gonna give you 52 fucking iterations of it. They're gonna roll it out. And you're gonna get the length and breadth and the feeling of what their intention was. Boom, this is it. This is the entire, how we see the whole year. This is how I see the whole year. So on Ghetto Lenny's love songs, it's like me marrying a stripper. That's what the emotion feels like. And all the music on it is what you play at the wedding reception. So whatever fits into that is what it'll feel like. But I guarantee you don't know all the things that fit into that.
I'm sure I don't. You gave us a little tease on Twitter. You were riding around with Meek, listening to something. Is that?
I wasn't riding around. He took that video.
Oh, he took it.
Yeah, I was in the car.
Did y'all work together on something? Or
Yeah.
What was that like?
You can tell. It was easy. It was easy, meaning it felt comfortable. Yeah.
Was that just kind of like an instant chemistry kind of thing?
Yeah, he's really fantastic at what he does. And I appreciate anybody that values what I do He's like, yo, I could see it. Anyone that could see it, his vision, I'm cool with that.
You talked about Free 21 Savage.
Yeah.
And you said, so many of my family members went through this. This means a lot for our culture, immigrant culture.
Yeah,
Can you speak a little bit about that?
I watched 2 of my brothers get deported. 1, 2, 3. Might be, yeah, I think it's 3 of them that got deported, for sure. Forgive me, one of my brothers passed away. All right, so 3 got deported. There's 10 of us in total, that's 30%. So you get 30% of your family. I watched an uncle get deported. I know it firsthand. I'm watching people get ripped away from their families. In a time like this is a really desperate time. So for me, I can feel that it's firsthand, watching him go through that in real time. Huge artist, huge, right? He's doing things that are productive and progressive for his community, things that he's standing behind, right? He has initiatives that he supports. It's better to have him on soil planted, safe, than to have him disconnected from this country that raised his mindset. It doesn't make sense. So for me, that's firsthand, that's an offense to me. I've had to deal with that.
When you see what's going on with the country and our current administration, there's a lot of backlash on immigrants and what are they contributing to our country, all this different rhetoric. How do you feel about what's going on?
I think most of it is uninformed. A lot of it is uninformed. A lot of it comes from fear. Fear is easy. Everybody's halfway scared, halfway afraid something's going to happen anyway. It's a cheap emotion. It could just make you afraid. I don't get overly invested in political conversations because I think there's a time and place for that. There's a platform to really say all the things I think and I feel. I'm thinking about music, but things that affect me personally, that come across my radar, like deportation, that's one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me too. I mean, I was undocumented for a couple of years. So another thing you said on Twitter that stood out to me was, Dear Lord, I pray you let me see this dream. I've been dreaming all the way through. These kids that look just like me, that need to know it's possible.
That's how I feel. I don't want to speak this into existence. I don't want to get too direct with it, but I meant that. Dear Lord, I pray you let me see this through. I wake up every day, every morning, and I think that out loud. I pray you let me see this through. We've seen lots of people get close. I don't want to just get close.
Lastly, you said on Twitter, live the way you want to be remembered. How do you want to be remembered?
Lit. That's all encompassing. I want people to remember me for my generosity, for me being thought provoking, for me being willing to stand behind whatever the fuck I believe in. I'm sure that we'll be on different sides of an argument at any given time in my career. But if I believe it and I can, in language, articulate it, I pray that you respect that enough. I want you to remember that I built something. I want to build something. I want to build something monumental, something that people can use as their template, their reference point. Even if it's not their template, just a source of inspiration. You can get an injection of opportunity, an injection of hope, just by looking at it. Just like I did when I was looking at Rockefeller, when I was looking at Jay. I want to give it to the people that can see it in real time. Open it, take it further than I've taken it. It's leaps and bounds. Look at where it's at. Look at what we can do. But there's so much more that we haven't done, and I want to see if I can go further. I believe I can. And then the kid that comes after me, he takes it further than me, or she takes it further than me. I pray that she does take it further than me.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
for being on that.